So finishing up our unit for your notes, which doesn't mean that you're done. You should be studying, reviewing, and getting ready for your test on the 20th. There's lots of vocab, lots of math, lots of formulas in this chapter, so keep working on it. But why do people migrate? People decide to migrate because of a combination of two factors. A push factor is something that induces or encourages people to move out of their present location. So it's really pushing them out of their country or pushing them out of their rural home into an urban area. So whether you're talking about transnational or international migration or internal migration, a push factor is the reason people leave. And then pull factors they're the things that bring people to a new location, whether it's jobs in the city, big yards in the suburbs, more opportunities in a new country. The pull factors are why you go where you go. So push factors are why you leave, and pull factors are why did you pick there. Three major types of push and pull factors are political, environmental, and economic. And we've talked about them a little bit already because these are really intuitive things that people are moving away from or moving towards. We talked about political a bit with refugees and asylum seekers. Environmental we hit on with refugees as well. And economic reasons is kind of, underlining really like any topic, anytime you've ever talked about migration. So environmental factors can prompt migration because of hazardous environments or move you to more attractive reasons. So what kind of environmental factors attract people? Mountains, seasides, and warm climates. People are moving to places where it's beautiful and they feel like it's on a vacation, although maybe we'll see some change in the seaside pool eventually. And then push factors have aside from a catastrophic earthquake, have a lot to do with water, either too much or too little. So drought and forest fires, that can be a push factor, which again, it has to do with water, or flooding. The biggest reason people tend to migrate is for economic reasons. So the push factor would be they don't have a lot of jobs, or they're only low-paying jobs, or they're just agricultural jobs, and they want to move on and have new opportunities. And the pull factor is you're going to migrate to places where jobs either are available or you believe they'll be available. The U.S. and Canada historically have been prominent destinations for economic migrants. And historically, we had the migration from Europe, and more recently, Latin America and Asia are the primary senders. So what kind of obstacles are there? Intervening obstacles are things that hinder migration or slow it down or make it harder. And they can be categorized into two types. An environmental feature, so having to climb a mountain, having to cross a desert, having to cross an ocean, or having to just go really far away. These are all features that can slow down or prevent migration. And the second one, which is a bigger one today, is political feature. So in modern times, the fact that you need to have proper documentation to leave one country and gain entry to another. That many times you have to apply online to get these documents. You've never checked out like the U.S. immigration site, look it over. It would be tough I think it's tough to understand as a native English speaker. I think it would definitely be tough to navigate as someone who didn't speak English as a primary language and wanted to move here. And in some places, even just having a passport, it costs money, it's expensive, you don't have access to one. So even just having the proper document to get on a plane is tough. And then you need a visa to either be a temporary or a permanent resident. And so this documentation is tough. And the rules often change, quotas are established, or the type of jobs you're looking for change. So lots of countries have adopted selective immigration policies. So there's usually preferences shown for specific employment or family reunification. And we have had different quotas and immigration laws in place since 1921, and then and followed by the National Origins Act in 1925. And so since the 1920s, we've really had a quota on immigration. Because more people seek admission to the U.S. that is permitted by the quotas, preferences are shown towards family reunification, which is also called chain migration. And chain migration isn't bad, although it's kind of been talked about badly in the media the last year or so. But it's really just you are more likely to move to a country if you have a brother or an uncle or a sister or a grandparent living there. And a lot of times having family there means that you have a safety net already in place when you get there. We also make exceptions even above and beyond the quota for skilled workers. So about a quarter of all immigrants are skilled workers. And when we take the best and brightest from other places, they call that brain drain. So if we are, seeking to bring over medical doctors and computer coders and computer engineers and physicists and biochemists, and we're looking for the best talent in other countries to come work in our universities, our research facilities, and our corporations, they call that brain drain. The reason we find we take in so many skilled workers, it would be nice if it was because we were like, wow, diversity really stems creativity, which it does, but that's not why. The reason we have such large numbers of exceptions for skilled workers is because we don't have enough U.S. workers who are trained to fill these jobs. So when we bring in immigrants to fill in these skilled worker jobs, it's because people in the U.S. weren't able to do it. They couldn't find someone qualified that was willing to take the job in the United States. And then diversity, and that's where we talked about the lottery. So if we don't have a lot of immigration from a country, we will have a diversity lottery and bring some people in from there. When people enter a country without documents, we call them unauthorized immigrants or undocumented migrants. Notice your textbook doesn't call them illegals, because I don't know how you could be a person and still be illegal. Like, it's not a crime to be a human. So a far less controversial and a more correct term is just unauthorized or undocumented migrant. Like what they do is they just don't have the proper documents, but they're still people. About 58% of our undocumented migrants had come from Mexico, although most of them have been here for a very long time. We don't have most people coming over the border today tend to be from Central America who have crossed through Mexico. We have about 11.2 unauthorized immigrants, and about 1 million of them are children. And about 4.5 million children inside the U.S. Were, their parents were unauthorized migrants. So clearly, we need to work on our immigration policies to make sure that, we can make sure that these children have safety and security. And that's it for your notes.